name's Aurelio Voltaire. I am not super rich and I am not super famous, but I have made a living from my art and from my music for over 20 years. And if that's what you want to do, I think I can help you. Now today we are going to toast. We're going to toast to haters. Cheers, haters. Cheers. You're probably wondering why. Well, in my very first installment of Future Rockstar's Handbook, I talked a little bit about how you have to put your work out there. And some people will never get to that part because they're afraid of rejection or negative criticism. And oh boy, did I hit a nerve, because so many people commented on that and wanted to hear more about that topic. So today we're going to talk about dealing with negative criticism, dealing with haters on the internet, and all of that kind of fun stuff. And unfortunately, we got to start out with something really, really obvious. It's inevitable. It's absolutely inevitable. Even if you're the greatest artist who's ever lived, you've made the most amazing art anyone has ever seen or heard, somebody somewhere is going to tell you they don't like it, and some people will be ruder than that and they'll tell you straight out they think it sucks. And it is unavoidable. Now, if you will only put out work if you don't get any negative criticism, well, that's kind of like saying I want to buy a beach house, but the conditions that have to be in place is that it can't rain for the rest of the century. And let's face it, there's going to be days when it rains. So if those are your conditions, you better not buy that beach house. And likewise, if you can't handle a little negative criticism, then this might simply just not be the right career for you, to be frank. Now, when people tell you that they don't like your work, I mean, everything that you make is a creation of yours. It feels like you're making children. You know, they feel like you're children. If you write songs, they feel like you're kids. If you're a novelist, each book of yours is like a different child of yours. And when people tell you they don't like it, it sounds an awful lot like your kids are ugly. And that's very, very hard to hear. It hurts. It's really a terrible thing to have to deal with. But it's going to happen. It's absolutely inevitable. Luckily, though, I stumbled upon a revelation one day that changed my life forever about how I view negative criticism. Nothing is for everyone. I mean, besides perhaps oxygen and water and some kind of food, nothing is for everyone. I used to get very, very hurt when people would say things, they go to my Facebook page and say, oh, the new album sucks, I can't stand your new book, or whatever it might be. And it used to hurt my feelings until it dawned upon me that nothing is for everyone. There are people out there who hate lima beans. Have we done away with lima beans? No, because there's other people out there that love lima beans. It doesn't make lima beans good or bad because an individual likes it or hates it. It is their opinion and they're entitled to their opinion. So when somebody comes on my Facebook page now or Instagram or wherever to specifically tell me that something I've done is atrocious, worst album I ever heard, whatever it might be, I look at it and I type thank you very much for taking the time to tell me that nothing's for everyone, and I hope the next one will be more to your liking. And I leave it at that. And it really has been a weight off my shoulders knowing that just because somebody doesn't like it doesn't mean the work is actually bad. It just means it's not for that person. But the fact that they traveled to my Facebook page or to my website or whatever it is to tell me this leads me to view them a different way, because now they're not just someone sharing an opinion that I asked for, they are professional poop sniffers! A toast to professional poop sniffers everywhere. I don't really call them poop sniffers. I'm keeping it clean for the YouTubes. I call them a different word for poop that has an S and an H in it and a T as well. That's what they are. They're professional poop sniffers. And I'll tell you why. Because when somebody travels through the interwebs to find an artist, to tell that artist that their work is not good, they have put quite a lot of effort in seeking out something they don't like, and they want to communicate to the artist and to everyone who's willing to listen that they don't like it and why. Now, the analogy that always pops up into my head, like, this is the way I view those people. I view them as They're walking down the street and they see a big pile of steaming dog poop. And instead of, oh, I don't know, walking around it, they go, no, look everybody. Oh God, it's dog poop. Oh, I hate dog poop. Oh, it's terrible. Look at it. Oh, it looks so bad. Oh, I hate how it looks. Wait, oh, I bet it smells awful. Oh, wait, hold on, let me get closer. And they get on their hands and knees and they put their nose right up to it and go, oh dear God, that smells so, oh, you got it, you have to smell this, it's so terrible. Everybody come over here and smell this crap, it's so bad. Oh, I bet it feels really disgusting. And then they grab a little bit between their fingers and they run, oh, that's so, atrocious. Oh, that's repugnant. Oh, it feels, oh, I bet it tastes real bad. Whoa, God, that tastes so bad. Hey, everybody, come over here. Who in their right mind would go out of their way to spend that much time inspecting something that doesn't bring them joy, something that actually brings them stress, something that they don't like? I have a slightly different strategy when I'm walking down the street and I see a big giant pile of smoldering dog poop. I go, dog poop. Not a fan. And I walk around it and continue walking to see something I do enjoy or something that does bring me happiness. That's how I live my life. So when people actually travel to my webpage or to any of my social networking sites to write me about how awful they think my work is, I just go, I type them a nice little reply. I say, thank you so much for taking time out of your day, out of your busy schedule, to come all the way down here to tell me how dreadful my work is. Thanks for coming to smell my poop and tell me how bad it is. I really appreciate the time that you've invested, because you could have used that time, I don't know, enjoying yourself, listening to music you like, or looking at art that you appreciate. But instead you chose to spend that time on me, and ultimately, that's passion. But it's a form of passion. I say to them, you're very passionate about my work. And passion is really, it's a form of love. So in a strange sort of way, you kind of love me. Oh, they get really, really annoyed by that. But honestly, don't let those people drag you down. Yes, sure, they're very easy to hate, but hatred isn't the emotion you should have towards them. The emotion you should have towards them is pity. Because how sad would your life be if instead of going out and enjoying the things that you love and seeking out the things that bring you joy, you spent all of your time looking for things you hate? Sad. There's an old saying, if a guy walks up to you and tells you that you're a horse, he's probably crazy, right? If a handful of people walk up to you and tell you that you're a horse, you might be a horse. If everybody tells you you're a horse, you better buy yourself a saddle, kid, because you're a goddamn horse. Now, sometimes when a lot of people are saying the same thing about your work, even if it's a negative critique, that might actually be helpful. That's not a negative thing. Sometimes negative criticism is actually not a bad thing, it's a positive thing. Motion picture studios spend millions of dollars every single year on a little thing called focus groups. They grab a whole bunch of random people, they show them a movie, and then they poll them and ask them what they thought of the film. If a large number of people have the same complaint about the film, there's a very good chance that that aspect of the film is flawed. And motion picture studios are known to go back and reshoot the ending months after the film is finished if the focus groups show that the large number of people don't care for the ending. I had a scenario where I released a demo of a song and there was one line that a lot of people were offended by. Now, I write bombastic material, but my goal is never to offend my audience. My goal is to entertain my audience, and the people who like what I like will probably like what I like. That's a little bit redundant. But in this particular case, enough people felt that I had crossed the line and they found it offensive that I thought, I don't want to offend my audience, so I went and I changed that line to something else. It was a little bit of a challenge to come up with something better or just as good. Now, I'm not saying that every time someone makes a negative critique of your work, you should change your work, but if a large number of people, your friends, your fans, the people that you're trying to reach, the people that you want to embrace your artwork, if those people all have a similar complaint, you should listen to them and maybe make subtle tweaks to your work. Believe me when I say that it's easier to go back and fine-tune your work and release it than it is to apologize for something once it's out in the world forever and ever. So when one person tells you your work sucks, don't lose any sleep over it. But if 100 people tell you that there's something about your work that could be better, just say to yourself, I just saved millions of dollars. I got my own focus group for free. And improve your work. Use that to improve your work. Staying positive can be so hard to do when total strangers are emailing you or posting on your social media pages that your work is no good or that they hate it. It's very, very difficult not to really get dragged down, and that's what you should never let happen. Some of these people are savages. I mean, some of them have no manners. It's very disrespectful. You know, my mother always said that cliched thing, like, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And that's how I live my life for the most part. So when people come to my page to say something mean to me, I think, like, what kind of person is this who has no manners? They're so disrespectful, and a lot of what they're saying might be hurtful. I've been doing this for 20 years. I don't think it ever gets easier. There are days where somebody will say something to me on Instagram or on Facebook, and it'll hurt my feelings, and it'll stick with me all day long, and it's terrible. You must resist the temptation to hit back. Because if you hit back and you start arguing with people on the internet, you've let savages drag you down to their level, and you do not want to do that. You want to do, as the kids say today, you want to keep it classy. You want to stay classy. So always take the high road if you can manage it. I write things like, I'm sorry you didn't care for it. I hope the next one will be more to your liking. And I write things like, well, nothing is for everyone. I try to stay positive. But once in a while, you get some really, really vile, rude, awful people who are trolls, and they're obviously looking to hurt your feelings. But don't you worry, because I have something for them too. The two favorite tools of mine in my arsenal: delete and block. Delete and block. Now, I reserve these for trolls. I really reserve these for people who are plain rude. You don't like my work? Fine, that's cool. You want to email me and tell me how you think it could be better? Great, thank you for your input. But if you're rude, and if you're hateful, and if you're malicious, delete and block. I do not even feel badly about it anymore. In fact, I had this wonderful revelation about delete and block, and that is that when someone says something really, really vile to you, and you delete and block them, I think to myself, I will never again have to suffer comments from that particular asshat. It really is a wonderful, wonderful discovery, delete and block. Now, I will say this, sometimes these people are so toxic, and they actually believe that we live in a world where they are entitled to share their unsolicited hatred with you, that if you block them on one social media site, they will actually seek you out. I've blocked people on Facebook who then found me on Twitter, and I blocked them on Twitter, and then they found me on Instagram because they feel like they have a God-given right to express to me how much they hate me or how much they hate my work. And I just ignore it. I just block them everywhere they pop up. You know, it becomes like a game of whack-a-mole. You know, it's like a turd that won't flush. It ultimately becomes kind of satisfying. You know, delete, oh, there you are. Oh, delete, oh, there you are, delete. And I just get rid of them, get rid of them forever. You know why? Because you don't need any of that. You deserve better. Negative criticism has its value, but that value is different to every artist. So in order to understand what the value of negative criticism is to you, you should ask yourself this simple question: why do I make art? If the answer is because you wish to be famous and you want to receive praise from hordes of strangers, negative criticism is going to have a very, very, very high value, and when you receive it, it's really, really going to hurt. Alternately, if your answer is, I make art because I wish to make a living as an artist, then listen very closely, because then negative criticism has a different value. It becomes a positive thing. Because by receiving negative criticism, you can gauge what you're doing that's working and what you're doing that isn't working, and it can help you really hone your craft. If people are telling you that your illustrations, lack a sense of anatomy, and enough people say that, maybe it's time to take some anatomy classes. These are things that ultimately become helpful to guide you towards being successful in your career. And here's the best part of all. If the answer to that question for you is, I make art because I love making art, because it fulfills me and because it's my passion, negative criticism ceases to have a value at all. Because no amount of people telling you it sucks, it's bad, it needs improvement, will ever take away from the fulfillment that you received in making it. And so at that point, negative criticism has no value to you at all. So you see, when you think about it, negative criticism isn't so bad after all, is it? I hope you have found this episode entertaining, and if you have, please like the video and subscribe to the channel because there will be many, many more of these. Speaking of which, let me know in the comments if there's something that you'd like some advice about. I hope you find these vlogs informative and entertaining, and if you do today, I'm going to ask you a favor. If you know an aspiring musician, an aspiring artist, somebody who wants to make a career from their passion, share this video with them. Send it to them. I will thank you. I think they'll thank you. And everybody will just be so much happier for it. I'm going to raise a glass because now I'm going to toast to you. And I'm going to toast to aspiring musicians and artists everywhere. I'm living proof that you can make a living from your art. I believe that, and I believe in you. I'll see you next time right here on the Future Rock Stars Handbook.